I have a very strict routine, and my routine I learnt from Stephen King by reading his book on writing. And I really loved his philosophy. His philosophy said, give yourself a goal of how many words you want to write a day. And if it's 500, 1,000, I give myself anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000, depending on, usually when I'm starting off, I'm a little bit less. I might start off at 1,000. But when I'm going, I tend to be able to say, okay, I'm going to write 2,000 words a day. And if I get that done in 4 hours, guess what? The rest of the day is mine.
Then, so I'm just going to talk about the routine as a writer, how, what's your writing routine and how has it changed as a beginner to now a award-winning best-selling author? So can you see the difference?
Oh, absolutely. The biggest part is I will do plotting now. Cecilia was plotted. I'm not going to lie, it was plotted in that I was given 5 acts, like 5 lines. That was sort of about it. Well, no, I guess what I should say is Cecilia helped me understand when I wrote screenplays. I didn't plot. It was writing novels that made me realize how important plotting and outlining were because it was plotted. But what I've learned now, the biggest thing I've learned is not to start writing until I've really figured out the point of view character or how I'm going to tell the point of view. I've got a big magical series that I've plotted out. I know all my backstory. I know all my history. It's the one I'm going to write called The Isles of Tarimdra. But I've been struggling about figuring out how I'm going to tell the story regarding point of view. And I think younger me, less experienced me, would have probably just jumped in and said, oh, I've just got to start writing the story.
The wildness.
To myself. I'm not going to do that to myself. And I'm giving myself the freedom to let it stew for a little while instead of stressing out. To figure out the point of view. So at the moment, I'm on a bit of a hiatus for writing because I'm in marketing mode at the moment, and it's really it takes up so much time with making friends with monsters. But when I am writing, I have a very strict routine, and my routine I learned from Stephen King by reading his book on writing, and I really loved his philosophy. His philosophy said, give yourself a goal of how many words you want to write a day, and if it's 500, 1,000, I give myself anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000. Depending on, usually when I'm starting off, I'm a little bit less. I might start off at 1,000, but when I'm going, I tend to be able to say, okay, I'm going to write 2,000 words a day. And if I get that done in 4 hours, guess what? The rest of the day is mine, and I don't feel guilty for it. But if I'm up at 7 in the morning to 7 at night, 10 at night to get those, that's the trade-off. But that's what I prefer to do than saying I'm going to write for 8 hours a day, because I don't think that's a tangible goal.
Yeah, got it.
For me,
just getting things going. That's the main goal.
Yes,
not the time.
Just having the number. Get
number thing. So you got it, the number thing from the author Stephen King from his writing book. Was this the thing at the starting phase, or you got it developed after Cecilia? When the whole thing number thing happened?
That happened when I decided to write Cecilia. Before I wrote Cecilia, I probably read about 5 different books about how to write a novel. And everyone kept saying, read Stephen King's On Writing. That came up all the time. And the other thing that book gave me was another permission that made me feel comfortable writing. Because what Stephen King says is, understand your toolbox. And whatever your toolbox is, that's what you write to. And believe it or not, that gave me a lot of freedom. Because I'm not a neurosurgeon, meaning I'm not a literary expert. I'm not. I know that I'm not going to be writing literary prose, right? And I'm like, I'm going to write to the level. And young adult is a really comfortable genre for me. I like that genre, and so I really liked that philosophy of just know your toolbox. You don't have to be brilliant at grammar. You really don't. That's what your proofreaders are for. That's what your editors are for. You hire people to fix all that. And so I just write to the level of my toolbox, understanding that I won't ever be a Pulitzer Prize winner or anything like that, and that's fine. But that's totally fine.
Right. Know your toolbox. That's one thing.
Yes.
Right. That is not know your toolbox. That is very important. And